talking about my hospital horror story. So, no offense to anyone in saying this, I just had a very bad experience. This happened to me right before Valentine's Day back in February, and I just felt the need that it should be shared. I'm going to try and make this as short as possible because this is all in like a week and a half span, I think.
It's about a week.
It was about a week-ish. So, I'm just going to get right into it. So, we're starting on, I don't remember exact dates. I just know it was a little bit before Valentine's Day. It was a Tuesday night, and I go to gymnastics every Tuesday and Thursday. And I was at gymnastics, and we started, and I was fine that entire day, and everything was great, you know. And we got to gymnastics, and it just kind of, I just kind of didn't feel right. We got done stretching, and it was like, you know, fine and everything, but then it just kind of started to feel like kind of dizzy at times, and I just felt really hot, and when I get too hot, I get nauseous. So I just thought that was why I was nauseous, because I got too hot. So basically, it just kind of went downhill from there. I asked my coach if I could go talk to my mom, and I went to go talk to her, and she was like, just cool yourself down, and then you can go back to your class, and everything will be okay. I was like, okay. So I went in the kitchen, which is in like the back of the gym, and I got myself a wet paper towel, and I was just kind of like fanning myself, trying to keep myself cool, and I felt a little bit better, so I went back out there, and as soon as I started moving and doing everything, I just felt like the same again. So I decided to sit out for the rest of my class. I did a little bit of bars, but other than that, I just sat out for the rest of my class. And yeah, so we actually had to take one of my friends home from gymnastics that night. So we took her home, and I felt better in the car ride, but once we dropped her off, it started to feel like worse again in the car ride. So I made it home, and I went straight to the bathroom. And, like, I honestly,
no details.
It was, like, just kind of like a blur almost. It was just kind of like, I don't know. But my grandparents live right next door to us, and I always feel the most comfortable with my mom and my grandmother. So my mom called my grandmother over, and, right? Yeah, my mom called my grandmother over, and it just kind of went downhill from there. So it was about, what time was it? 10 o'clock at night?
About 11ish, just by the time that it was really, really bad. We didn't go to the hospital until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, by the time, it was like 11 o'clock at night by the time it was like really bad. Like I was vomiting like every 5 minutes.
No, it was a lot. Not every 5 minutes, but it was a lot.
It was quite a bit. Anyway, it was quite frequent is I guess what I'm trying to say. So it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we decided we should take me to the ER. And I was like begging my parents to take me because I knew something was wrong. So we decided to take me to the ER, and we got there, and my nurses and doctors were so nice at that ER. We went to the one closest to us, and yeah, we went there, and they got an IV in me, and they gave me some anti-nausea medicine, right? And everything was looking up. So then they changed shifts, and it was a new doctor, and he was nice, but we think he might have sent me home a little bit too early because it just kind of went way far downhill because I wasn't in DKA at that time. But if you don't know what DKA is, it's diabetic ketoacidosis, and it can be deadly, pretty much, so gotta be careful. But anyway, so I wasn't in DKA at that point, but the doctor decided to send me home, and I don't think he really understood the notes the other doctor had, so I think he thought I was perfectly fine to go home at that point, but I wasn't really, I guess. I mean, like, I was feeling better, but that was mostly because of the anti-nausea medicine and, you know, like, everything like that. So I get home, and I still had large ketones, so I was like, okay, well, just give me some water, because I was parched, obviously. So I get some water and everything like that, and then the cycle just started all over again. So we finally made the decision. It was about 10 o'clock that Wednesday night. Like, I went home at like 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday.
It was like 9 o'clock in the morning.
9 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning. And then I went back to the ER that night at like 10 o'clock.
It was like 9, 10 o'clock.
9, yeah. So we go back to the ER, and the first doctor I had was like, oh my gosh, why are you back? And so we explained what happened, and yeah, so at this point, I'm pretty sure I was in DKA, right? Mm-hmm. At that point, I was in DKA, and we just kind of took immediate measures. So I was they wanted me to be admitted into the hospital, but the hospital we were at did not take pediatric children into admission. So he was going to transfer us to a different hospital. So the first one he tried to send us to, it was full and everything, so then we went to the second one, and we rode in an ambulance, which was actually pretty fun. First time I've ever ridden in an ambulance, and it was pretty cool, honestly. I slept most of the time, but it was pretty cool. So anyway, we get to the second hospital at like, what time was it? It was sometime Thursday morning, right?
About 10. We got to the hospital at 10 o'clock.
We got to the second hospital about 10 o'clock Thursday morning. So we spent the night, that Wednesday night, in the ER, and then went to the second hospital at that time. So this is where the story gets going. So basically, I had 2 nurses as like my morning nurses come in, and they hooked me up to all my IVs and everything like that. And they were super nice, you know, and basically we just started giving me fluids and everything like that. And then the nurse I had that night...
Wait, but they didn't start you on what they needed to start you till...
Oh, right. But I was supposed to have insulin, like an insulin drip to help my ketones come down and just like, you know, help me with my DKA. Insulin and dextrose. I was supposed to have both of them like immediately to help with the DKA and get me out of DKA. They waited 6 hours to start me on that. So I was in DKA for 6 hours.
More than that, or longer than that.
Yeah, like way longer than that before they even did anything about it. So that was error number 1.
They claimed that they didn't know that that's what you were supposed to be on.
Yeah, and they claimed that they claimed that they didn't understand the doctor's notes, so they would just start from scratch. And it was like, that's not really how it works, but okay. So they waited 6 hours to start me on that, and yeah.
Keep you on it for 24 hours.
We're supposed to keep me on it for 24 hours. We'll get into that in the next day. So this is Thursday night now, and it was the night nurses, and my main nurse actually had a type 1 diabetic herself, so we were like, oh, that's great. She was pretty good, you know, she knew what she needed to do and everything like that. So then the next day comes, it's now Friday, and I had my morning nurses, and we're not going to name any names, and I'm not going to tell you where all this went down or anything like that, but my morning nurse was quite rude, actually. So I was supposed to have the insulin and dextrose in me, going in my IV for 24 hours, and they took me off of it like less than 24 hours. So the new nurse that was quite mean came in, and she was like, are you ready to eat? All right, this, and I'm like, no. Like, I still wasn't feeling well, so I was like, I'm not ready to eat yet. And she was like, well, you need to eat so we can get you off of this. And I'm like, okay. And my anxiety is like through the roof. Like, my anxiety is like so crazy. I have such bad anxiety. It's like out of this world. So for her to put that much pressure on me to like eat something is like not very helpful for me. Like, that makes me even more nervous. And then when I get more nervous, I get more nauseous. So it's like, it was just a very bad situation altogether.
And then they wouldn't let you leave until you...
So then they were claiming that they wouldn't let me leave until I had 2 negative ketones and I was eating stuff and everything like that. But that's a little bit further in the story. So that entire day, I'm still like trying to eat stuff, but like not a full meal because like I'm not ready for that. And so it's Saturday now, and the pastor at our church, his wife came to visit me in the hospital. My aunt, my cousin, and my other aunt also came to visit me. My uncle came to visit me. It was super great. Everybody was there for me. And oh, by the way, both of my grandparents and my mom and dad were both there throughout this entire week. Like, as soon as I was, like, from when I was in the ER till when I was out of the second hospital, they stayed with me the entire time. I'm so thankful for them. I couldn't have done it without them. So then, basically, what's the next part? Oh yeah, so the nurse was like bothering me, like she came in like quite a few times asking me if I was ready to eat, and I was like no each time because like I wasn't ready or anything. And the pastor of my church and his wife ended up coming to visit me, and everything was great. You know, they left a little bit later that day, and then it was Sunday, and I believe that night, it was Friday night, they gave me this new thing to like settle my stomach. It was supposed to like settle the acids in my stomach or something. Mm-hmm. And what was it called? Probiotics or something? No. It was pro something. And it was supposed to like settle the acids in my stomach and stuff. And like, so they gave that to me through my IV. And that night I was like so dizzy. It was like insane. I've never been that dizzy in my entire life. And it was like the scariest thing. So anyway, I was okay after that. And Sunday comes, and we went through that entire day I finally was like eating food, you know, getting back to like more of a normal schedule, and drinking as much water as possible, and I'm stuck at small. Like, I was stuck at small ketones. So I was like super upset because I was worried I was going to be in this hospital for like a month and stuff. And yeah, so then we call my other doctor, or my MUSC doctor, and she said, I don't see why she has to stay in the hospital for ketones. She was like, but that's their decision. I would call the doctor she's having at the moment. So we called the doctor I had in that current hospital that I was staying in, and he was like, no, I just wanted her to be able to eat some food, and then she didn't have to have, we would like her to have negative ketones, but she doesn't have to. So I ended up getting released Sunday night at like almost 8 o'clock that night, right? And we get home, and I was feeling a lot better, you know, things were looking up and stuff, but it was like the long road of recovery at this point. So we get home, and I had to take those whatever it was to settle the acid in my stomach. I was supposed to take those as pill forms every day. Like each morning when I woke up, I was supposed to take those and, you know, everything like that. And so I took it that morning, and that night I had literally every single side effect possible for that medicine. Like, I think it was dizziness, I had that. It was, what else was it? It was like joint pain, something like that. Stomach cramps, like really bad stomach cramps. I had all of that. Headaches, blurry vision, like everything. I had literally every single one of those things. And we looked at the side effects and we were like, oh my gosh, that's definitely it. So I didn't take it the next day and I was fine. And I was still a little weak and stuff. And, you know, it took me about another week to recover fully and everything. But it was just a really crazy experience overall. Obviously, I'm here, I'm healthy, I'm fine now. But it was quite a scary experience. And I just felt the need to kind of share that with you all. So if you have any other questions, you can ask me down in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please be sure to give a like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And when you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the gray bell next to the subscribe button so you never miss when I upload a new video. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!